Mom and Dad tell me that you have a friend.
His name's Rory. He won't tell me, but I think something bad happened to him.
Do you mind if I try to see Rory?
The horror genre thrives on the anxieties that give rise to our hesitations, doubts, and insecurities. The entirety of a horror film is driven by the character's fear, and by that token, the film must work hard to cement the connection between said characters and the audience. To put it plainly, we must care about a character before we can accept their fears as our own. And if any horror series is character-driven, it's the Conjuring universe of films. While there have been numerous spin-offs and prequels, the heart of the series is Ed and Lorraine Warren, the paranormal super couple, and their, shall we say, misadventures with demonology. With the release of The Devil Made Me Do It, in celebration of its newest entry, I decided to take a look at the one that started it all.
We are beyond terrified. We don't know what's going on or what to do. Can you help us?
Yes, we can. Firstly, there's no such thing as Annabelle, and there never was.
Ghosts don't possess such power. I think what we have here is something extremely manipulative. It's something inhuman.
It was a big mistake acknowledging this, though. And through that, the inhuman spirit tricked you. You gave it permission to infest your lives.
The opening scene is a creative choice, as instead of a terrifying jump scare being used to set the mood, the metaphysics of it all are instead casually explained while simultaneously introducing us to our protagonists. They're confident.
We've been called demonologists, ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
Kooks.
Wackos.
Intelligent.
We've isolated the disturbances to the attic. Now, I just want you to listen for a second.
Oh my God, that's it.
Do it again, Ed.
Right now, it's just my weight. We take the water coming off of the pipe, combined with the wind coming through the broken window, these boards are going to expand and rub against each other. You heard it all through the house because of these pipes leading to the radiator.
So, this place isn't haunted?
No, it rarely is. Yeah, there's usually always some kind of rational explanation.
And sophisticated.
Which brings us to the 3 stages of demonic activity: infestation, oppression, and possession. Now, infestation, that's the whispering, the footsteps, the feeling of another presence, which ultimately grows into oppression. Now, this is where the victim, and it's usually the one who's the most psychologically vulnerable, is targeted specifically by an external force. Breaks the victim down, crushes their will, and once in a weakened state, leads them to the 3rd and final stage, possession.
The Warrens are not your average horror heroes. They're human and capable, and doubtless have a high tolerance for fear. Yet the film they are in is relentless in its pursuit of fear. Or perhaps it was just the house that the Perrin family was in, as the Warrens only begin being challenged after they decide to intervene. Either way, I find Ed's description here perfectly fitting.
Whatever Lorraine sees, feels, touches, it helps people, but it also takes a toll on her. A little piece each time.
He describes the toll that what they do takes on Lorraine, but it also serves to foreshadow how the spirit attacks her throughout the rest of the film. Little pieces here and there, finally culminating in the haunting of Judy and the possession of Carolyn. The spirit of The Conjuring doggedly targets several characters in the film, preying upon their insecurities and fomenting terror where feelings of inadequacy may be. For example, Carolyn falls prey to her anxieties about her family, and Lorraine to her emotional vulnerability as an empath. Ed's fear is driven by the latter, as he is conflicted about putting his wife in danger, despite the peace it brings to those they assist. And that uneasiness is evident in nearly every interaction he has. He is compelled to face that fear when it comes to an expertly contrived crescendo where Ed is forced to endanger Lorraine to save Carolyn and the Perrin family.
Then you need to leave.
What are you talking about?
I have to do it. The exorcism.
He can do it. You can do it.
You gotta get out of here.
I'm not leaving you!
Damn it, Lorraine, I'm not doing this with you in here!
God brought us together for a reason. This is it.
In the end, Ed performs the exorcism, Carolyn resists Bathsheba, and a happy yet slightly ominous ending leaves the audience satisfied. The end, right? Conquer your fears and everything will turn out all right. While that is part of what The Conjuring is saying, just like our decisions, think about what would have been if the choices the characters make in the film had been different. What if they don't conquer their fear? And that brings me to perhaps my favorite line in the movie. Ed and Lorraine are explaining to the Perrons the intricacies of being haunted, and this exchange comes about.
This dark entity has latched itself to your family, and it's feeding off you. Even if we leave?
Sometimes when you get haunted, it's like stepping on gum. You take it with you.
Carolyn, not facing the fears that haunt her and her family, ends up literally bringing it with her. In her case, it presented itself in a demonic, near-murderous rampage. But with Ed and Lorraine, not facing the insecurities within their relationship, they bring them along to the next case, where they are, similar to Carolyn, forced to reckon with their fears. In the same way, our fears about our livelihood, our families, our relationships manifest themselves in the way we approach, interact, and even perceive other people. For example, I was betrayed by a couple of people in 2018 and left pretty heartbroken by it. For years afterwards, I approached people with suspicion. Hell, I practically was a recluse. Only recently have I been able to face those events and open back up again. But as Ed said, having stepped on the gum,
You take it with you.
as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the fear a horror film induces depends on the connection forged between the audience and characters. The Conjuring strives to be character-driven, showing Ed and Lorraine not only as skilled paranormal investigators, but as a mother and father. We see how they face their individual fears, and, by extension of that connection, we project our own fears onto the hauntings that they face. Ed and Lorraine desperately attempt to help the Perron family face what haunts them, and The Conjuring is a film that seeks to do the same for us. Should we cope with what unnerves us and recognize its damage, then it becomes a relic, left to collect dust in the museum of our memories.